Hey, this is Teddy Parham, and I'm getting some really powerful news here, and I just want to share it with you all. We were talking about Dirty Doug Wilder, and I just found out that when his son went to California, well, I was told that Dirty Doug sent his son to California to avoid prosecution and the drugs, but I done found out that Larry Wilder is now working for the Republican Governor McDonald in the governor's mansion, and he is a felon, and they had all that shit expunged. Come on, fellas, talk to me. Just talk. You ain't got to call y'all. I don't want to put their names on, but I just want y'all to feed the people the news. Now, tell me about this sucker, Larry Wilder. Just talk.
But I was going to tell you, that's why Doug Wilder supported a Republican governor. If you remember, he supported Bob McDonnell over the Democratic nominee so that his son could get a job and his violations would be expunged. And that's how he got the job in exchange for Doug Wilder supporting Bob McDonnell nomination for governor.
Oh my God. Dirty Doug. And what do you think if I asked the people to file a class action lawsuit against him in this slave museum? Because I feel like they ought to open the slave museum up and have his ass hung by the throat as a wax doll when you walk in the door, and with Dwight Jones, both of them dangling by their throats, the wax dummies. What do you think of the chances of the people filing a class action lawsuit against Doug Wilder for the false information he gave and the scam about the slave museum down there in Petersburg? Fredericksburg. The place look. Do you think they can sue him? They ought to be able to sue him for that.
Oh, he's an ex-governor. And it's like if you embassy, if you're like an ambassador, you know you can't be sued.
Exempt.
So and the governor will help him anyway. Remember, he protected the governor, so now the governor's gonna help the ex-governor and protect him. How come you think he hasn't paid the money back from Petersburg? Even though they sued and won a judgment, he doesn't have to pay yet because Bob McDonnell is protecting him.
Dirty cracker.
You know, they have that power. You know, it's like the United Nations. You can rape or kill somebody, but they can't come get you out the United Nations.
Out the embassy.
Doug Wilder's the ex-governor. As long as he do stuff in the state of Virginia, he's going to be protected.
Oh, my God.
If Obama loses this time and he becomes an ex-president, of course, Secret Agent, Secret Service would then possess his life extension. But he's exempt basically from criminal activities against him. He's Mr. President.
There gotta be some kind of way we can take these niggas down. And when I say niggas, I ain't talking about the color of their skin neither. Anybody that know me, that are my friends, and they come in all colors, when I say nigga, I don't mean the color, I mean the action of the people.
Why do you think he wouldn't have a slave trail, the slave museum in Richmond, the home of slavery? Why do you think he had to go to Fredericksburg? Because he was the mayor of Richmond, and he had already worn out his welcome and had robbed Richmond, so they wouldn't allow it. So he had to go to Fredericksburg, a place that really didn't know his track record. And then McDonnell supported him. Anybody else could have never stole that money. He robbed the whole city of Fredericksburg.
He robbed the whole city of Richmond?
And Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg supported him, God knows, I think it was $2-3 million or something. They had me broke ground. But the money's gone. Doug living it up. Son got a job. He got to pay no child support, no alimony for his wife.
He got a mansion in Charles City.
Sure, that's why he had old Kluge up there. The richest woman in the world.
He used to visit her often when he was governor.
And I got a
taxpayers' money to go visit her with.
in the plane and all of that.
Yeah.
I got friends that are not black that told me all about that.
He took that man, he ain't poor. He took that man horses. She gave him horses. The wife. The wild Kemp. He had her jumping through hoops.
And I heard when he met her, she was a prostitute working in a damn bar, something like OJ. He done went in there and picked her up.
Exactly. She said,
But she didn't have to work.
she said, how much money Kluge got? She said, I'm married that old man. I'm gonna put something on him. She never cared nothing about it. Here come Doug Wilder in his cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
Yeehaw!
He smelled money. Doug loved money now.
A worthless piece of crap.
Doug grew up poor. I guess, I don't know.
He's a closet Republican.
Oh, he is. He's not closet. He is a Republican.
No, I mean, he's been to someone in my family's home before, and they're big-time Republicans.
He's a Republican. He's never tried to lie about that.
And you know who else is a Republican? And on the Democratic Party, that piece of shit Mike Hearn.
No, yeah, he's terrible. Commonwealth attorney. Oh, please.
He's a dirty nigga. He the one set me up and had all them evil things done
They
to
threw
me.
some chocolate paint on him is all they did. He ain't got no culture. Not our culture. That man ain't got a black blood in his body. You know he doesn't.
A black blood cell. That's why I told him if it was true about his daughter having cancer, may God take her little ass out so she won't grow up and be like him.
A stiff-necked fool. That's what we call him. When they walk all stiff and ain't got no vibe to him, he a stiff-neck. Straight back. Like a robot.
And one guy was telling me how he controlled all his students at the University of Richmond.
Oh, her terrible. How you think you become Commonwealth attorney? You don't become Commonwealth attorney being a brother. They ain't gonna hire no real brother. Dwight Jones and all one, he never was in the civil rights, even though I hate that word. That just means, civil being nice to you. But even still, he was just like Doug Wilder. He was never in the fight, ever. Most black preachers was in the fight. Dwight Jones was never in the fight. He went to Virginia Union. Oh, that's how I
with Marty Jewell.
I went to Virginia Union. I
did too.
Political science and history. I wanted to be one of them one time. God help me. I changed my mind. That's because you go to Virginia Union to be a politician, to be black. I went there. I got a degree in political science. I found out them guys are terrible.
I think that
Henry Marsh and Doug Wilder and Dwight Jones and any 9 out of 10 black politicians from Richmond went to Virginia Union. You have to go to Virginia Union to get into to the hotbed of politics. So if you're a politician of sorts, running for mayor or something like that, you have to go to Virginia Union. You have to. Leonidas Yim.
over there behind me, the damn crook.
Terrible. Steal money from a dead woman on her deathbed to mess with a mistress. You can't get no lower than that. Take the money out of her hand before she dies.
That's why I don't go to that church. Them niggas flock to that nigga church every weekend. Church be packed. I'm like, Lord, look at all them demons over there. I can't go over there. I won't go in there.
The guy used to be Kenneth Dennis, I think is his name. Reverend Kenneth Dennis. Used to be the Reverend at Greater Mount Moriah on 1st Street. That feed everything.
Yeah.
You heard that story?
Yeah. How he got caught on the dope. He was on the dope and everything.
Wrecked the car right by Creighton's Court. I was living in Creighton's Court at the time. Mercedes. Prostitute, cocaine, bottle of liquor in the car. They tried to
dismiss it, to take it all out.
No, I'm talking about the church people. They voted to remove him as pastor. Kenneth Dennis from Greater Mount Moriah. The black women rioted. Old black women formed a barricade around the church with the canes. God is my witness. Would not let the police in to remove Kenneth Dennis from his ministry. Now, what the police gonna do? They ain't gonna beat the old black women across the head.
Wear them out.
You know they won't gonna do that.
They usually do it. They don't usually have no respect for no older black women.
At the church, you know, they in their church hats and
yeah.
they turned the police away. It took them 3 months to get this man out of his ministry, even though he was caught
red-handed.
That's not the worst part of Richmond. Like I said, I wanted to be a preacher. I went to Virginia Union in the history of religion. My preacher, McCurry, E.D. McCurry Sr., was the head of theology at Virginia. 56 years head of theology. Great Bible teacher. His son, E.D. McCurry Jr., was a preacher. Right up here, I think, is Mount Carmel on 18th and Broad by McDonald's. This preacher was arrested for prostitution, dressed in a woman's clothing, drag. A homosexual, prostitute, drug addict preacher, E.D. McCurry Jr. They had him on the news with the 5 o'clock shadow and the dress on being booked. They arrested him for prostitution on Broad Street, trying to get some cocaine. The preacher of the church.
Was he also at Morning Star?
I think so. But I know he was at Mount Carmel, right up here on Broad Street.
Yeah.
Do you know that his father and all the trustees of Virginia Union kept him in his job until they got all up on until Free Press brother Ray Boone
with his dirty ass.
Yeah, but he exposed that one. Even that was too dirty for him. he had a whole big argument. He had him in the Free Press, arrested in drag with the beard coming up. How can this man still be a preacher? And that women church wanted to keep him because they liked him. Just like with Leonidas Young, you remember they followed him? Half the church followed this man.
And still following that nigga straight to hell.
Something wrong with us.
Something wrong with them.
That's how I mean with black people in general. Look at the ex-mayor of Washington, Byrd. Caught him on tape, smoking crack. Caught him on with the pipe in his mouth. And they still support him. Now, if they catch an average brother on tape with a crack pipe, he ruined for life.
That right.
Couldn't get a job digging the ditch.
That right.
This man became mayor again. All of them, all of this stuff. After all of you bitch, you set me up on tape with the crack pipe in his mouth. And we just love. Look at Chuck. If Chuck Richardson ran for office right now, you know he would win.
That's what I kept asking. Where is Chuck?
I like Chuck though.
He was a fella. I did too.
See?
But Chuck did his job. Chuck came home with that drug problem.
I know.
Because he did not have that problem when he went
Couldn't
in
deal
there.
with their surroundings. I know.
He did not have that problem when he went over there. Chuck was one of the few politicians that did his freaking job.
Did.
And they were so mad and jealous of the brother.
He was shooting too much dope.
Yeah, and then when you started to go get it yourself, and when you going and get it yourself.
Hazel Trice, Edna, you remember she liked him. She was a writer and stuff like that. She's a big time black writer. He dogged her. That was
because he wasn't in his right mind.
But see, you know, everybody in the black community liked Hazel. Because Hazel was real. Matter of fact, she won Journalist of the Year. The Independent Reporter. She got her own little newspaper out of D.C. now. And she used to be for the Afro-American. She used to be a writer for African-American. Hazel Price Edna.
Hey, Amarita. Hi, darling.
And she started dating Chuck.
All right.
And we told her, Chuck married. Chuck a junkie. We told her. Chuck was a known junkie.
I used to play in the band with his son.
I know you're talking about.
But I know looking for the dope himself.
Yeah.
Instead of sending a dummy, I knew he was
He needed help.
He needed help.
So, you know, she was like on the way up, big time writer. And she fell in love with him.
But he was that kind of guy. But she couldn't beat that
We
demon.
tried to tell him.
You can't beat that demon there, that drug demon that Howard.
Chuck was so bad. The Chuck would be on this Idlewood. And Chuck would just sit there in the junkie hole, waiting to score.
He had to have it.
I know. But somebody needs to help Chuck.
I want to. I've been trying to find it. I was looking for Mr.
Chuck getting high here.
I hope not.
Yeah, I'm telling you now. Chuck getting high with the level.
He lost his wife. He lost his family. He almost lost everything, including his damn
I don't
mind.
really sell weed, but I know all these. I know these influencers that don't want to, you know, and I'm a ragamuffin, but I know them. So I always, you know, deliver to them. So I'm going up there for one of his boys, and I see Chuck in the hole.
So you know what that means.
I just shook my head. And Chuck needed to hit. In the hole. This is about a month ago. A couple months ago.
Why?
But look, I gotta get ready to go. I gotta meet my man down here at VCU Medical Center.